invite you to rise in body or in spirit and turn in the gray hymnal to number 336, All My Memories of Love. This is an ancient tune, going back all the way to the Middle Ages, but with words by Anna Akhmatova, modern words, and I would invite you to sing along in the gray hymnal number 336. All my memories of love hang upon thy stars. All the souls I've lost to tears now the autumn jars. And the air around me here thickens with their song. Sing again their nameless tunes, sing again and strong. Willows in September touch the water clear, set among the rushes tall of the flowing year. Rising up from sunlit past comes the shadowed side, running toward me silently, love to fortify. Many are the graceful hearts hung upon this tree, and it seems there's room for mine on these branches free. And the sky above the tree, whether wet or bright, is my ease and comforting, my good news and light. Thank you. Please be seated.
Good morning. I am Reverend Theresa Rohlck, Minister of Pastoral Care, and I extend a warm welcome on this chilly and not so foggy right now, it was earlier, morning, to all who are joining for this special service of remembrance. We have been gathering as a community since 1865, and since 1865, we have continued to grow. 6 new members joined just last week. We continue to widen our circle and bring our congregation's current vision work of radical welcome, climate justice, anti-racism, anti-oppression to the world. If you are new and joining us online, welcome. Please feel free to introduce yourself in the chat. You can help us connect with you by filling out a survey at uuaa.org/newcomer survey. And if you are here in person and new, I invite you to a newcomer welcome held in the Redmond room. It's just outside these doors, and it's the first door on the left. Someone will be there to introduce you to what Unitarian Universalism is and help answer any questions you might have about this congregation. Now, I have a few announcements. The first 2 are food related, so I know you'll pay attention. November means it's apple dumpling time. And this is just the teaser, right? The youth will be selling them soon, so watch for more details to come. November 19th will be a Sunday for pie. Please contribute or consider contributing to the pie potluck that will happen in the social hall after each service on November 19th. You can bring anything you consider to be a pie: sweet, savory, a pot pie, a pizza pie, an apple pie. I think if it's round and has a crust, it's a pie. So, please note also a last-minute cancellation. The forum on legislative updates to the juvenile justice programs that was scheduled for this afternoon has been canceled. Now, many of you have seen and read the announcement that we have filled the position of acting coordinator of the membership journey. I am delighted to announce that we will welcome Reverend Mandy Beal to our staff team beginning January 1, 2024. Yes. You can read many more details about Reverend Mandy in the weekly news. but she brings to this position relevant past experience and a passion for fostering deep connection between members and the community. Now, even though Reverend Mandy could not start until January 1st, the search team decided it was worth the wait to bring on board someone with her expertise. Now, January 1st is only 2 months away, so until then, we continue to rely on volunteers to help the Welcome Ministries keep running, whether it's ushers or greeters, help in the social hall with coffee and donuts, the new member classes, Friday fun nights, tree decorating. There is a lot to do in November and December. Please consider volunteering, even just for one time to do one thing. Many people have stepped up to fill in since Hannah's departure at the start of September. So let's continue to support these volunteers with even more help in the next couple months. You can contact Deb Markham, deb@uuaa.org, to volunteer. And finally, as I said last Sunday, I would update you on the stewardship campaign. And I am happy to say that many pledges did come in by the November 1st deadline. Thank you, if that was you. But it wasn't everyone. Of those pledging last year, 24% have still not renewed. That's like a quarter, right? So if you're in that 24%, you may receive a personal call soon. We are getting closer to being done, so please consider making your pledge so we can have a healthy budget to work with this coming year. Thank you.
Last week in this space, we celebrated Halloween with goofiness and silly songs about death and dying. Yet we mustn't forget that All Hallows Eve is followed by All Saints and All Souls Days, inviting us to more somber reflection on death and loss. Every culture has its own rituals for honoring the dead and marking the passage through grief and mourning. Whatever practice you bring with you into this sacred space, we honor it and welcome you. November brings us to a new season in our worship calendar. Our services this month and in December will follow the overarching theme of honoring. Today, we move into this season of honoring with our annual service of remembrance, lifting up those in our community whom we have lost to death in the past 2 years. We act with solemn intention, lighting candles, intoning names, remembering, grieving, and celebrating together. If one or more of our departed kindred were intimates of yours, please know that we hold you in our care as we honor their lives and their memory. They were dear to us, as are you. We will also enter a time when you will be invited to come forward, if you so choose, to honor the dear ones you have lost over the years. In this ritual act of memory and devotion, we acknowledge our personal losses as we enfold each other in communal embrace. No one need grieve alone. Come, let us move together into our circle of remembrance, where all are held in love. We are gathered in community. We are gathered for worship.
We turned on our fireplace for the first time this week. It's not one of those fireplaces that actually provides any real heat, but I still find myself flipping it on when the weather outside is especially chilly. There's just something about a flickering flame. It evokes comfort and warmth. It makes me feel like I'm wrapped up in a snuggly blanket. When we come together in this sacred space, our flaming chalice evokes those same feelings for me: comfort, warmth, safety, love, and belonging. This morning, I would like to invite Barbara Lynn to light our chalice. If you're worshiping from home and you have a chalice, light it with us and share in the chat where your own sacred flame is flickering as we recite these familiar words. Together, let us say, we light this chalice for the light of truth. We light this chalice for the warmth of love. We light this chalice for the energy of action. We light this chalice for the harmony of peace. Thank you, Barbara. Another source of warmth and comfort is our covenant, spoken together with care and intention. We are not a creedal faith, but are bound instead by our relationships with one another, by a shared commitment to honor the inherent worth and dignity of every person, and to always lead with love and compassion. Our covenant is a reminder that we are one another's snuggly blanket. So whether you're joining us for the first time or whether you have these words memorized, please join me as we say together, the spirit of this church is love, and service is its law. This is our covenant with each other, to dwell together in peace, to search for truth in love, and to help one another. Before our Time for All Ages begins, I'm delighted to announce that we are launching an amazing fundraiser this morning. And to tell us more, I'd like to invite Quincy Northrup to the podium.
Good morning. This is the magic box. Each year, I'm the liaison, or pitch person, you might say, for a program called Guest at Your Table, coming to us from the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee, our organizational arm embracing the world. This is a very big, snuggly blanket we're talking about. So each year, UUSC asks us to imagine having a guest at our table. Or another way to frame that invite is to say, remember that we are part of a very much wider world, a world in need of help. Who can deny that today? We can help by contributing our interest, our voices, our money, our small change, or our big checks, as you wish. And our money is there to help with this effort. UUSC works with global partners, close to 70 all around the world, who have identified their particular problems, and they look to UUSC for guidance in areas of human rights, the impact of climate change and what it's doing to their communities, the need to flee their homes, supporting people as they find their voices to solve their problems. Each year, 4 stories come to us as examples of how and why UUSC partnerships work. They come from communities in Mexico, the South Pacific, from Poland, and one story from right here at home. Honor the box.
So, kids. Hi. This is where you come in. Over the next couple of weeks, we're going to be distributing packets to all of our families and friends that want to participate to take home with you. These packets are available in the social hall and on the SGD welcome table near the check-in kiosks. So kids, make sure that you grab one of these on your way out today before you leave. I'm also going to be sending out an informational email with all the details. So you'll get the box, which you can put coins, cash, checks in. And you're also going to get a brochure that tells these stories of hope that Quincy mentioned. We invite you to put the box together and place it on your table where you gather to eat together. We invite you to read the stories as a family and talk about why those stories matter to us as you use. Whenever you can, drop your extra change into the boxes, or if you want, you can do some additional fundraising on your end. There's no minimum amount of money that you're expected to bring in. Whether it's $10 or $100 or any amount in between, every little bit helps. If you're motivated, you're welcome and encouraged to ask your family, extended family, friends, and neighbors if they want to contribute to this important cause. It reminds me of the UNICEF boxes that we used to walk around with trick-or-treating when I was a kid. We would also like to invite any kids or youth that are interested in helping us collect donations during our weekly social hours to let me know, and we will put you to work. No one can fundraise like an adorable child or a precocious teenager. The campaign will officially end on Sunday, December 3rd, so plan to bring back your boxes with any of the money you collect by then. Let's help change some lives.
So this once-a-year effort, the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee, gives us a chance to widen our circle of loving concern, to help our distant neighbors support their path in life by contributing funds to support this important work. Thank you for joining us as we make a difference in the world.
Thank you, Quincy. So I have a question, and I would like to ask the children first, if you are interested in participating. Have any of you ever, well, and I can ask this more broadly, have any of you ever lost anyone? I think all of us, and that's what we're here today for. So for the kids, maybe it was a grandparent or a family friend or a pet. So for anyone that feels comfortable sharing, I'm curious to know, what does that feel like in your body? Your heart shatters. I think we can all relate to that. Can you say that again, or can your parent say it? Oh, Granny B died. I'm sorry. Did it feel really sad? Nope. Well, that's okay. Sometimes it's nice to be 3. Anybody else? What does it feel like in your body? You can just throw out words. You can think of a word. Your cat died? That's pretty sad. Words, I want to hear. Empty. Heavy. Wounded. Sad. What was that? Violent. I think that's a good one, actually. I wouldn't have thought of it, but that feels right to me. Anything else? What? Joyful. Upset. Angry. Any other feelings? Maybe numb sometimes? Oh, you want to smack yourself in the face. Maybe that would feel better than what you're actually feeling in the moment. Well, having experienced loss myself, I would say that it feels really heavy. It's like a weight that you carry around with you. Well, our story for all ages this morning illustrates how one child's grief shows up in a very specific and unexpected form. My Big, Dumb, Invisible Dragon, written by Angie Lucas, illustrated by Birgitta Seif. Have you ever seen an invisible dragon? Neither had I. But one day last May, a giant one swooped in and landed on my head, right on top of my head. It was the day Ollie's mom came to get us from Turtle Hill Park instead of my mom. She had a funny look on her face, and she opened her mouth 3 times before any words came out. I don't know if the dragon rode to the park with Ollie's mom or if he was already there hiding in the trees. All I know is I didn't see him coming. And once he was there, he would not go away. Dad and I had to get used to making dinner without Mom there. We had to get used to how quiet it was in the car without her singing along to the radio. We had to get used to movie night without her famous peanut brittle popcorn. But that big, dumb dragon didn't even notice. He moved right in and made himself at home. He curled up on my chest every night when I was going to sleep. I swear he must have weighed a ton. He made it super hard to get out of bed in the morning. At school, he cast a ginormous shadow that followed me everywhere. And if you think it's easy to stand up straight with a dragon on my head, let me tell you, it wasn't. I think he's the reason some kids didn't talk to me as much anymore. Some days I ignored him. I pretended he wasn't there at all. I played hard and laughed like crazy, even louder and crazier than before. But that didn't make him leave. Other days I got angry. Go away! You can't believe how mad I got. I yelled and shouted, "No, stop! At him, at everyone. What did that dragon do? He put on his headphones and tuned me out. There were also days when I'd reach up and pull his big, heavy wings around me. I would curl up like a caterpillar and hide away for hours. It wasn't always so bad to have him around. Still, almost every day, I tried to make a deal with him. If you'll just get lost, I'll never say a bad word ever again, I told him. I thought maybe if he left, things could go back to the way they were. But he didn't seem to care what I wanted. Not one bit. Then one day, when the sky was filled with cotton candy clouds, Ollie invited me back to the park. I made myself roll and cartwheel and race down Turtle Hill, just like before. I ran so blazing fast, my hair stood straight up like uncooked spaghetti, which made Ollie giggle. Then something happened that I wasn't expecting at all. For the first time in months, I forgot all about my dragon. When we ran out of breath, we flopped down on the grass and took turns spotting shapes in the clouds. "I see a giant octopus," I said. "Does that look like a chicken to you?" Ollie asked. "There's a pig." "Or is that a bear?" I asked. "That one kind of looks like a dinosaur," Ollie said. "Actually, I'm pretty sure it's a dragon." I don't know what that dragon saw up there in the clouds, but after that day, he started soaring even higher and staying away longer. He often disappeared during gym and recess, and sometimes he'd miss a whole soccer game. Once, he was gone for an entire weekend. But he came back, just in time for my birthday. I tried all my tricks to make him go away. Skedaddle, vamoose! What do you think he did? He put on a rainbow-striped cone hat and stayed for the party. I finally just gave him a piece of my birthday cake. That night, as I waited for sleep, which can take a while when there's a big, dumb dragon in your bed, I realized something. my dragon didn't feel as heavy as he did back when I was 6. I guess my birthday wish came a little bit true. Hey, remember when I asked if you've ever seen an invisible dragon? That was a silly question. You can never see one by looking straight at it. You have to look at the person underneath. The end. My grief didn't come in the shape of a dragon, but I know very well the weight that the boy from our story carries around with him. That dragon is heavy. It gets in the way, and it won't leave him alone no matter how loudly he yells or how strongly he tries to ignore it. What the boy learns is that when you lose someone, grief will become a new and constant companion. And as hard as it feels, instead of running away from the dragon, maybe we should run towards it, give it a hug, and a piece of birthday cake. May it be so. And now is the time in our service when we sing our children and youth to their programs. Kids, please follow your teachers out of the sanctuary to your gathering spaces, remembering to walk and not run, as the congregation sings with love and tenderness.
Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. For your people are my people. Your people are mine.
We come to the time in our service when we engage in the spiritual practice of our weekly offering, a mindful act of generosity during which we present our gifts with intention and in love. Once a month, we turn our gaze beyond these walls and out into the world, sharing our collection with a group working here in our own community to build the better world we seek. Today, we share our collection with Peace Neighborhood Center, a nonprofit providing food, financial assistance, and other services to local individuals and families. UUAA's own Kevin Lill, Peace Neighborhood Center's Director of Annual Giving and Communications, is here to tell us more about their good work. Will you please welcome Kevin into our pulpit?
Thank you so much. As was mentioned, I am a member here, and today actually sort of brings things full circle for me in some ways. My wife Dawn and I met through me coming and doing a sharing and collection speech in January of 2020, and so, here I am today, and now we're married and doing it all over again. So anyway, but this is not about me. This is about Peace Neighborhood Center. So for those of you who are not familiar with Peace, it is a wonderful organization that has been providing wraparound family services to those in need in our community since 1971. Celebrating our 52nd year this year. We're probably best known for what we do on the youth side of things with our tutoring and after-school programs and mentoring programs for young people, but we actually help the adults in all of the families that we work with as well, with emergency assistance programs, substance abuse recovery programs, and programs designed to help those families become self-sufficient and overcome the obstacles in their path. So over the past 52 years, Peace has helped over 18,000 individuals throughout Washington County to break the cycle of poverty and reach positive goals towards greater success. In 2022 alone, Peace Neighborhood Center provided services to 1,700 individuals. We provided food to over 375 food insecure families, offered after-school and summer day camp programs to 180 youth, kindergarten through 12th grade. We helped 172 families with the financial assistance necessary to stay in their homes. 175 adults were provided with crisis intervention and case management services. We served over 12,000 meals, and close to 500 families were given the gift of a brighter holiday season thanks to toys, clothes, and gift cards as a part of our annual holiday toy and food drive, a drive that everyone in this congregation helps support regularly. I just learned during the social hall hour a little while ago that the selling of the apple dumplings actually helps create that wonderful bounty of gifts that comes to Peace Neighborhood Center each year from UUAA. And those gifts, all of the toys and food and gift cards and everything that we collect during the holiday season, very, very important. But the gifts that come from UUAA are especially important because those are wrapped and purchased with love, and they're for the kids in our after school programs that we know and actually receive a wish list from. And so we know exactly that this is the toy that this child wants, and to see the joy in their eyes when they open it, it's an incredible thing. So thank you all for it's been over a decade now that has traditionally been done here. So we just want to make sure that everyone in the congregation is thanked for that. The biggest new initiative on Peace's horizon, so we've been doing services on the west side of Ann Arbor for over 50 years, but we are now looking to open a new building in Ypsilanti Township that we're calling the Hub Community Resource Center, with a grand opening hopefully set for June or July of 2024, construction. So hopefully it will be this summer though, and we're looking forward to that. The Hub will involve a number of community partner agencies working together to offer neighborhood families the same level of comprehensive wraparound support that Peace has offered for over 50 years, but it will be located at 1515 South Halerz Road, right in the middle of 3 isolated neighborhoods in need. So that would be Galt Village, Sugarbrook, and West Willow. And I will be in the social hall after this service to answer questions about that project and all of the work that Peace Neighborhood Center does. But as a member of this congregation, I'm very pleased to be up here, and because Peace stands for common values that's shared by UU, such as social justice, community, stewardship, and culture. And it's really just a great partnership between our organization and this congregation, a marriage, if you will, even though that's sort of on my mind today. But so I just want to thank you on behalf of everyone at Peace Neighborhood Center.
Thank you, Kevin. Peace Neighborhood Center is a fixture in our community, and it is an honor to count ourselves among your allies. The collection we take today will further the many projects that Kevin just outlined for us. As the ushers pass the baskets, those of you here in the sanctuary may leave cash or check donations. On your check, please indicate "Share the Collection" in the memo line. For digital options, you may text UUAA to 73256 or visit uuaa.org/giving and select Share the Collection for the fund. Thank you for your generosity. The gifts we send out into the community today will bloom and bear good fruit. I invite the ushers to please come forward as this morning's offering is gratefully given and received. Thank you. As our ushers come forward, I invite you to rise in body or in spirit as you are comfortably able. And please join me as we say together our words of dedication. To the work of this congregation, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action, we dedicate our lives and these our offerings. Thank you. You may be seated.
We take time now to honor and remember those from our UUA community who have died. We begin by kindling our candle of memory. This candle holds in its flame all those we have named and remembered over many years in our past ceremonies. Today, we add to this list those who have most recently died. As we sing a litany of remembrance, I will light a candle for each person named. During the singing of the litany, you are welcome to join in the response. You are not forgotten. We will also place a stone for each one named in this bowl that holds water gathered at our water communion ceremony. Later, these stones will be placed outside in the area around our memorial garden.
Michael Martin, Angela Barber, Gretchen Jackson, George Conkle, Johann Stoll, Lois Zimmerman, Lou Calloway, Ken Burkhalter, Carolyn Roberts, Bennett Stark, Stephen Nason,
Dear ones, for each of us, this litany of names brings up different emotions. For someone new to the congregation, there may not be any connection with the names. For others, many or even all of the names bring to mind a specific memory. There is not a right or wrong way to experience this time of remembrance. What is important is that we share the experience and are present for each other. Please join me now in a time of silent reflection or meditation, and remembering silence here is simply the absence of adults speaking. There are sounds all around that are part of this space. Let them become less distracting as you settle into your body in whatever way is comfortable for you. Soften your gaze if it helps you feel more centered. Close your eyes. Breathe as is comfortable for you. As you breathe in, recall the name of someone who has become one of your ancestors. And then breathe out the words, "You are not forgotten." We will spend a few moments now in shared stillness. The lyrics of Dr. Barnwell's song resonate with me particularly strongly this day when we are intently focused on memories. We sang, "I am sitting here wanting memories to teach me, to see the beauty of the world through my own eyes. You used to rock me in the cradle of your arms. You said you'd hold me till the pains of life were gone. You said you'd comfort me in times like these, and now I need you. Now I need you, and you are gone. You are gone, but not forgotten." That's why a time of communal remembering is so powerful. Those who have died are not forgotten because through our rituals to comfort us in our grief, we remember. Many cultures around the world have rituals held on specific days or times of the year dedicated to remembering ancestors. In the Jewish tradition, the yearly anniversary of a loved one's death, traditionally following the Hebrew calendar, is marked by family with the lighting of a Ysaye candle that burns for 24 hours. Ysaye is a Yiddish word meaning anniversary of a death. In Java, Indonesia, a selamatan is a ritual in which people gather for specific prayers and share specific foods. Small boxes of food are then distributed to those in the neighborhood and the community. Selamatan are celebrated for many rites of passage, for example, in the 7th month of a pregnancy, or at a birth or a wedding. But after someone dies, a series of selamatan are held at specific times, after 3, 7, 40, 100, and 1,000 days, as well as at the 1-year and 2-year anniversary. When I first encountered this tradition while living in Java, I was struck by how often they were held and how often I would receive a small basket of food because I was someone's neighbor, even as a foreigner. I marveled at how people would keep track of 100 days and 1,000 days after a death. People in Mexico, Latin America, and in some communities in the US celebrated the Day of the Dead, or Dia de Muertos, just a few days ago on November 1st and 2nd. It is a holiday of remembrance and community. It's when people spend time with the memories of those who came before, but also celebrate their lives. The traditional way of celebrating is by making an ofrenda, an altar to hold the offerings that usually include a photo of the person being remembered, candles, flowers, food, and specific personal items. It's my experience that in this country, how we remember our deceased ancestors varies greatly depending on our own religious and cultural upbringing. I tend to mark the death anniversaries of my grandmother or my sister, for example, by connecting with family or close friends, and with certain somewhat private rituals I have developed. In a modified sort of selamatan, I make a particular food in their memory, and I share it with a few others. But I don't usually celebrate their anniversaries in a very public way, involving a large community. So this service of remembrance that we as a congregation have created and celebrated for years is one that is dear to me for exactly this reason. It provides us a ritual to collectively hold the memories we have of our ancestors. While the shape of the ritual has changed a bit over the years, What remains constant is that we specifically name those from the UUAA community who have died. And we now follow this ritual by building a communal memory altar honoring individual losses. Certainly, for some, the word altar conjures a Christian context, a place at the center of a chancel upon which offerings are made, candles are lit, holy books are placed, or incense is burned, and where bread and wine is used in Holy Communion. But the broader definition of an altar as simply a table or a place which serves as a center of worship or ritual is the one that resonates with me at this point in my life. What I love about our Unitarian Universalist take on altar is this: it is what you see before you. It is very literally a table, and it is a center for ritual. And it's accessible to all of us. There's nothing secret or reserved for only a select few. It embodies the sense of community and connection we aspire to every day. To me, it is a sacred space. Our altar already has a few things on it: water, stones, flowers, and some memories from the first service. We have created a ritual space that you will help complete. You will be invited to come up when you feel ready. If you're on this sort of half, you can come up towards this table, and on this half, come over to this one. You may place a photo or another item on the altar if you wish. And if you did not bring something, you are still welcome to come forward and write a name or a memory on a piece of paper and leave that on the table. Whether or not you bring something to the table, you are invited to place a stone into the bowls at the end of each table, speaking the name of someone you are remembering, either silently or aloud. And if you need assistance during this ritual, let us know, and we can bring the ritual to you. And if you are joining on live stream, I hope you will create a special sacred space, your own personal altar, maybe in front of your chalice or a newly lit candle, and place a photo of remembrance there. If you would like to share the name of those you are remembering, please add the name to the chat, and your fellow live streamers can bear witness. If you have a stone that you are placing on your altar and you would like to add it to those here, you may drop it off at the church in the coming weeks, and it will be included when we bring all the stones out to the memorial garden. So let us begin, being mindful not to crowd each other at the table, allowing the time needed for remembering. So please. We have one more candle now that calls us to remember all lives lost during the past year. Each life worthy of being remembered, even if they were not known to us and are not represented here on the memory altar. Among them, we remember tens of thousands of civilians and military personnel killed in wars and conflicts around the world, in Ukraine and Russia, in Israel and Gaza, and in many other countries. You are not forgotten. The many who die in the US and worldwide from earthquakes, floods, hurricanes, fires, and other natural disasters, you are not forgotten. Those who are victims of mass shootings and gun violence, you are not forgotten. Those struggling with mental illness who have died from suicide, you are not forgotten. The countless number of Black, Indigenous, people of color, trans, and non-binary lives who have been victims of hate crimes, you are not forgotten. Let us remember all lives lost this past year by holding just a few breaths of silence together. There is so much to hold, so much. Being in community can help us share the weight we are carrying. Participating in the rituals we have just done collectively can provide comfort, but we only do this particular service once a year. I'm a firm believer in having other rituals available to us, so whenever we feel we need a way to connect, or share, or find comfort, we can. Most of you have seen or used the space we have over there near the wall for lighting a candle on Sunday mornings. Some of you might have noticed it looks a bit different today. We commissioned a new work of art to hold our candles. This beautiful clay bowl was sculpted and then donated to us by artist and congregant Ingrid Gunderson. Over here. If you would take some time in the coming weeks to look more closely at it. Ingrid said she wanted the bowl to show movement. And in her words, I quote, "It seemed right that the waves of joy and sorrow, anger and love, fear and serenity that carry us and hold us are waves that move in ways we didn't quite imagine." End quote. The fluid shape of this piece, I believe, captures all of who we are and all of the ways and moments we want to remember. On any Sunday, you may light a candle at the start of the service or any time during the service. The candles can mark anything you are holding in your heart. Now, many of you remember the years when this was a small enough congregation to have time during every service for people to speak aloud their joys and sorrows. As we have grown, this is one of the practices that has changed. And I recognize that some of you still mourn that change. And I'd like to offer a new way to share joys and sorrows in a written format. There is now a book here in the sanctuary, right there near the candles, as well as one on the Pastoral Care table in the social hall. You're invited to write whatever you want to share, knowing that anyone might read what is written. and I ask you to include your name. In the lighting of the candles or in the writing of joys and sorrows, know the community is here to share and hold these experiences with you. I thought a lot about community last January when I spent much of that month with my mother as she was in hospice care before she died at the end of the month. I was away from this community for quite a stretch, but I still felt very connected to you because of how this community offered support, even from afar, through notes or cards, texts, and email, and then other ways of support once I was back, with food and flowers and more cards and calls. But I was also included in the community in Holland, Michigan, where my mother was. She was part of a church community, the one I was raised in, that showed me over and over again how important these connections are, especially at times of loss, grief, and death. I felt deeply loved and cared for by that community as well. But it is a theologically Christian community, and every day I heard a message about what happens after life on this earth, or what would happen to my mother after death, that was not in sync with my personal beliefs. It was okay. I can hold both, understanding the deep importance that had for my mother and for her friends. But the day after she died, a dear seminary friend from Grand Rapids drove over to help me pack a few things and have lunch. I was overcome emotionally to be in the presence of one of my people, of someone who was Unitarian Universalist and got it. She offered love and support just like everyone else, but I cannot describe the amount of comfort that came from having that connection to someone who shared my faith and beliefs. It is my hope for all of you here, even if you are brand new and this is your first day here, that you feel that same connection, that you have found your people here. Today is a day we openly acknowledge and talk about grief that is with us after a death. We could think about it as a big, dumb, invisible dragon, like the one in our Time for All Ages story. Perhaps today, the dragon was a bit more present than it has been. Maybe it showed up during the choir pieces, or when pausing at the memory altar, or when you weren't expecting it. Remember, once the dragon came to the child, he wouldn't go away. And that's how grief works. It comes to us and it stays. The child sometimes ignored him, laughed, and played anyway. They started living their life again. And that's how life with grief works. We begin to live our life around the grief. Then there was the moment that the child realized for the first time they had forgotten about the dragon for a while, and he started to stay away a little longer. But no matter, the child could not get rid of him completely. Remember, he showed up at the birthday party? And how true is that? Our grief surfaces on anniversaries, on special dates of celebration. Indeed, grief will feel different over time. We must give it no timeline and no expectation that it will ever be over or completely disappear, but simply allow it to become a constant in our lives. And then in time, our life and activities and connections expand around it. So in contrast, it doesn't feel so heavy or so very present all the time. That expanding around the grief is supported by and facilitated by one's community. It matters that we, in grief, allow the community to embrace us. It matters that we, in turn, embrace those needing us. I'll close with Ysaye Barnwell's words again. I am sitting here wanting memories to teach me to see the beauty in the world through my own eyes. I thought that you were gone, but now I know you're with me. You are the voice that whispers all I need to hear. May you be so blessed to hear the voice of your loved one and may they be so blessed to know they are not forgotten.
Would you join me in rising in body or in spirit and turning in the gray hymnal to number 411, 411, and join in singing our hymn, Part in Peace.
Part in peace the day before us, praises sing for life and light. Are the shadows lengthening o'er us? Bless thy care who guards the night. Part in peace with deep thanksgiving, rendering as we homeward tread, love and service to the living, gentle memory to the dead. Part in peace, our voices raising, in thy presence always being. This the worship and the praising, bringing peace to you and me.
Dear ones, at the end of the service, you may return to the altar and gather your items, or you may leave them for a while if you wish. They will be held in care. Our candles remind us that it is in our naming and remembering those we love, they live on. The altar reminds us that we maintain connection with those who have come before, and that they help us see beauty in the world. They become the voice that whispers all we need to hear. Sharing the stories of those who are represented here in these photos and stones and books and candles is essential to healing. You will know when you are ready to share those stories. If these rituals give you courage to share your stories today, remember, you are in the company of those who wish you well. This is your community. These are your people, the ones who want to remember with you. May you part now in peace, knowing deep into your bones that you are not alone. You are seen and held and loved. Amen. And may it be so.